All right. Good afternoon. I am Jessica Carroll, the program lead for Measure 110. I'll be serving as your facilitator for today's meeting. The Oversight and Accountability Council welcomes and encourages community input. Members of the public are invited to submit public comments or get on our interested parties email list by emailing the Measure 110 inbox, which is oha.measure110@dhsoha.state.or.us. That email address and more information about the council can be found on the Measure 110 OAC website, link in the chat. For more information or support with community engagement, please contact Jessica Carroll at the email address being dropped in the chat. OAC members have asked that OHA and other staff who are present in the meeting space introduce themselves in the chat. Please share your role with the agency, and if you are a subject matter expert, your area of expertise. Because this is a voting subcommittee, we will be asking for subcommittee members to declare any conflicts of interest that they may have. We will request these declarations before each full county. So if you'd like to declare a conflict for the entire county, you may do so then. Additionally, we will be asking for potential or actual conflicts of interest declarations before each organization is discussed. So please declare any conflicts when prompted by the facilitator. Please remember that if you do declare an actual conflict of interest, we ask that you mute your microphone and turn off your camera. We will let you know in the chat when it's time for you to return. If you have a potential conflict of interest, you may remain in the room and vote after you declare it if you choose to. And with that, I'm going to throw it over to Walter to get us going with roll. Oh, sorry, Sydney. Oh, we have live captioning today in both English and Spanish. And you can find that at the link in the chat. Thank you, Sydney. Walter?
Right. Hey, good afternoon, everyone. And I'm going to take it from the top for our roll. And then you can just say here if you would like, please. Melinda. Melinda.
Here.
Well, welcome. All right. Onisha.
Here.
All right. Ron.
Here.
Okay. Amy.
Here.
Okay. Hubert.
Here.
All right. And Keisha.
Here.
All right. Turning back to you, Jessica. We have 6 and we have met quorum.
Jessica, you're on mute.
Okay, let's try this again. The first county that you're going to be considering, we're jumping back into, is Multnomah County. If you would like to declare a conflict of interest with the entirety of Multnomah County, please do so now. Hearing none. The first organization in Multnomah County that you all will be considering this evening is the Mental Health and Addiction Association of Oregon. If anyone,
Sorry, I have a conflict.
oh, thank you, Keisha. So Keisha is declaring a conflict of interest and will turn off her camera and mute herself. Keisha will be sure to call you back when it is time. Any other conflicts? Hearing none.
So,
Mental health.
I'm sorry, real quick, Jessica, are we starting with outside in or MHAAO?
MHAAO.
I thought it was MHAO. I thought we voted on outside in already.
We already did outside in.
We did. That was a mistake. So sorry, somebody resent that with outside in and they, yeah. So apologies.
We did approve though. We did approve them, correct?
You did.
Yeah.
It's, yes, it was a mix up on this end and apologies for that getting sent out again. You have funded outside in. They are not on the agenda. All right. So the Mental Health and Addiction Association of Oregon is applying to provide peer support, housing, and harm reduction in Multnomah County. There are 2 recommendations. They are both yes, and you can find them on the MHAA01 and MHAA02 tabs in your Multnomah County Workbook number 2. And with that, I'm going to send it over to the subcommittee for discussion or vote.
So I have discussion. So I requested the proposal and I looked through it, and they are requesting $4 million, as Ron was saying at the last meeting. And the plan does sound amazing. However, the plan that they are referring to doesn't have anything to do with Measure 110. They are requesting $4 million to buy their admin building with negotiation and goals to someday build a 50-unit supportive recovery housing that will connect to their admin building. But they stated very clearly in the proposal that they are not requesting money to build housing. We would literally be giving them $4 million to buy their admin building, and no clients, no recipients would be able to have housing at all. In the future, it says they have a goal to meet with a housing development, and they want to someday build these 50, but they don't give a timeline. They don't give a guarantee. They use the words goal. And basically they're in negotiation with another organization called Reach CDC, with the goal of partnering with them on the housing development portion.
Yeah.
So
And it says very clearly, we are not requesting funding for housing construction costs from Measure 110 at this time. They have a goal, and that's great. I have a goal to lose 50 pounds. I probably won't hit that goal tomorrow, maybe next year. So when you say a goal, I mean, that's great. That's a long-term plan, but we're not paying you $4 million for housing because we can't house anyone in your admin building.
So I'm just gonna, thank you, Onisha. I'm just gonna read more of what that statement is that they make. It's, how do you plan to expand or create housing with this grant? MHAAO plans to build at least 50 units of supportive recovery housing connected to peer services on the recovery campus property through other funding applications. We're not requesting housing construction costs at this time, but we are requesting funding to purchase the property itself through this Measure 110 application. So I'm not seeing admin building in there. I'm seeing housing.
But it says we are not. Their acquisition of 8935 MHAO, so they're requesting to buy a building where they will have offices and like there's no housing in what they're asking to pay for. If you pull up their, it says it very clearly.
Well, I'm reading the same proposal.
If you read in their budget review in line number 104 under number 44, it says acquisition of 8935 Southeast Powell property. MHAO has site control of a building located at 8935 Southeast Powell. This building will become the base of operations for MHA's services, which will also provide services in collaboration with community partners. It's not to house anyone, Ron.
Well, I'm just reading the proposal, how they plan to expand housing, and it says they plan to build at least 50 units of supportive recovery housing connected to peer services.
They have a goal, and they're in negotiation with Reach CDC, but that has nothing to do with what we're paying for. Like if they said, we want to buy 4 houses, and we want all these houses are going to be $500,000. It's going to cost us $2 million. We could put 10 people in each of these houses. And as soon as you guys fund us, we can put people in houses. But that's not what they're asking. They're asking us $4 million for their main site of their organization, which no one will be housed there. So we're not paying for any housing. We're paying for a building. And then they added an addendum to that. Like once we get this building, we're going to work with these other people to make a goal to have them help us make these 50 supportive housing. And if you think about how long it will take to negotiate a contract, get the funding, It doesn't say that they've already got the funding for the 50 supported housing. It sounds like they're still in negotiation. They have a goal, and goals are great, but we're not paying for housing. We're paying for a building that they will have as an office. There will be no housing immediately available with that $4 million.
Well, I'm only reading the proposal. I'm not interpreting that. I'm not
That's what it
seeing
says
where.
in the proposal. That's
I'm not seeing
exactly
where
what
you're
it says
saying
in
that
the
it's.
proposal. It says
one
acquisition
time-
of 8935 plans to build at least 50 units of supported recovery housing connected to peer services on the recovery campus property through other funding applications, which is not Measure 110. We don't own it. We don't control it. We don't, you know what I'm saying? It's not attested to us. We are not requesting funding for housing construction costs from Measure 110 at this time.
What they are,
MHAO is, however, hoping to be funded to purchase the property itself through this Measure 110 application. And in
That's
that
correct.
property itself will be offices and will be places where people can hold groups. Show me in the proposal where it says the timeline of when these 50 apartments will be ready. We're going to get them $4 million, but we ain't going to have no housing. They're going to buy a building, and then they're going to have a goal with Reach CDC to hopefully get the 50 supported housing. But there's no contract that attached to this. There's no timeline saying if you give us $4 million, we'll have 50 apartments by this time. None of that was included.
well, I'm only saying that I'm not arguing the housing part anymore. I'm only out arguing the purchase the land. And my understanding from reading this is the land that they're purchasing is where the housing is going to be.
But when will the housing be available? And are they for certain that they will get the money for the housing from this other grant? There was no timeline included, and it says that they have a goal to do the housing. We all have goals, but there's no concrete evidence that if we give them $4 million, they're going to provide us with housing. They will have a building. They told us up front, we're going to buy a building.
So I'm only reading the proposal, and the proposal.
That's what the proposal said. They were very honest.
I'm just saying, it says what type of housing? It says to develop 50 to 80.
Goal.
May I please speak without being interrupted?
Yes.
Thank you. What type of housing does your entity provide? 50 to 80 units of supportive recovery housing. That's what it says. Then it goes on to say that we plan to build at least 50 units of supportive recovery housing connected to peer services on the recovery campus property through other funding. We're not requesting housing construction costs. However, we're hoping to be funded to purchase the property.
So we're supposed to be funding housing. Nowhere in our housing rubric does it say we want y'all to pay $4 million so they can buy their admin building and make that be housing.
So
Tell me how that
what I'll
makes
say,
sense.
this would be my comment to that, which is that our intent for ballot measure 110 is to create infrastructure for development of program. And this is part of infrastructure. Startup costs, construction costs, capital costs, those are all infrastructure costs that we are very capable, and it's within our jurisdiction and capability to fund.
It isn't within our jurisdiction, but the committee was created because we want to help those who are most impacted by the war on drugs, and we want to help them immediately. Due to people not being able to finish their rubric and that process being, extended, due to people not receiving funding, that process has been extended. So now that we are on a timeline and we trying to get these people this money, you're going to tell me that it makes sense for this committee to give them $4 million to buy a building that no one can live in with the hopes that they will be able to make this other deal work. Because I'm going to read this. It says MHAO is in consultation. I don't understand what consultation means. Consultation means me and you are talking about a deal. We're working something out, but it isn't concrete yet. It's in consultation with Reach CDC with the goal of partnering with them on the housing development portion. They don't have a goal in concrete yet. So at $4 million we got to spend on those most impacted by the war on drugs. We want to give them this money to buy a building that no one can live in and hope that this consultation and goal that they have with Reach CDC is going to happen in a timely manner to construct a building for those most impacted on the war on drugs that needs housing right now. They couldn't have came up with another plan for that $4 million to find a way to get houses to put people in the house right now. They want to buy a building for their organization. And I just think we need to think strategically about that.
All I'm saying is purchasing property to build housing is a perfectly legitimate expense for Measure 1.
But the housing they're purchasing is not for, nobody's going to be housed there. It's an admin building.
It's the property that they're purchasing to build housing
another
on.
building adjacent to it is the goal.
That's exactly right.
But what we're paying for is the admin building. If we were to fund it,
we're paying for the property to build the housing. That's the only way I can see it.
Tell me why we wouldn't just pay for the housing. Why would we pay for that? Why would we spend $4 million on an admin building for them and nobody can be housed in it with the hope that they're going to negotiate this deal and everything's going to fall into place?
I don't think you and I are going to see this the same way. Okay. I believe they are purchasing property to build housing.
I want other concerns, but I want to hear from the rest of the subcommittee about, because we all can see it. And I'd rather hear from the other subcommittee because we both argued our points.
Okay, thank you. So Amy, you have your hand up. Thank you.
Yes, I have heard and evaluated and considered both arguments. After careful consideration, I feel that in the timeline that is presented and with the goals and measures, they have great ideas. But at this time, I would like to make a motion not to fund due to the fact that this isn't it. The plan is not going to fit the time frame and the goals of ballot measure 110's intent for the people most impacted on the war on drugs. The problem that we're seeing here is that you're right, intentions are great and planning is great, but we all know that things happen in time. So I do get that, and I'm not saying this isn't a great institution and that this won't be wonderful. I'm just saying for what we have now that's in front of us, it is my view at this time to not fund this project because I feel that you
got a second from Hubert.
That's all I got to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. So Amy made a motion. I have a feeling there's going to be more discussion, but Amy made a motion. Okay, hold on. Amy made a motion not to fund MHAAO. We have a second from Hubert. Was that Hubert or Melinda?
That was me.
That was Hubert.
That was Hubert. Okay, so we have a second from Hubert. And I'm going to go out on the limb and ask, is there any more discussion?
Yes, I'd like to say that in the proposal, one of the things that they added in the proposal is a beautiful artistic rendering of the housing that they plan to build on the property. And if you see the housing, they describe it very clearly. 3 identical floors over housing, 18 two-bedroom units, 3 studios, and 21 dwelling units total. They describe the where it sits adjacent to the admin building, not on the admin. It's not the admin building. It's adjacent to it, and it's a great proposal. We have 2 yeses from the OHA reviewers. I reviewed this proposal. I thought it was a yes. I recommended it for the yes. And it was going to be my recommendation to support this proposal because I haven't seen another proposal to create, construct, buy property and build housing in outer Southeast or Southeast Portland, period. And I think this would be a great.
As we are in a state of an emergency, Do you know how long it will take them to build that 50 costs? And they're not asking us, they're not saying, Onisha or subcommittee, we are willing to rent our admin space and we are willing to invest this $4 million to build these apartments right now. So my question is, how can we ethically fund them to buy an admin building? That is not equal to housing. We are funding people that are going to serve us with housing right now, that the doors to the housing services are going to be open within weeks to a month after they receive funding or whatever is logical for receiving the funding and getting these houses open. This project, there is no timeline for this project. So we're left to use our own wisdom reading the proposal that they got to buy the admin building and that they are still in negotiation with this other place to receive funding. Then after they receive the funding, then they got to build the building, and Measure 110 will not own the housing part of it. Only thing Measure 110 will have any direction over is that admin building. So we're not paying for housing. We will be paying $4 million for admin building. And that does not equate to paying for housing.
We would never own the housing. The
I'm not
organization
talking about
owns the
owning, but I'm
housing.
saying we're supposed to be investing in services that will be a part of a burn. So we're
also
paying for
investing
admin, but
You guys, come on. We've
We're
already
also
tested this.
investing. We're investing
Let's
in
vote.
infrastructure.
Hey, everybody. Okay, let's stop. This is discussion period. So everybody gets to discuss, but if we could discuss one at a time and allow each other to finish and maybe make room for other folks who might have some thoughts or ideas, I think that would be great. Okay, so let's just raise our hands before we talk and keep it, keep it smooth. So, Ron, would you like to finish your thought? And then I think Onisha has a thought. And then I would like to leave some room for other council members who might have some thoughts, like Hubert. Okay, thank you.
No, I just think it's a stretch to look at a proposal to create and to purchase property to build housing and then ignore the housing that's being built. That's being planned, and that's written in the proposal, and it's just troubling to me that that with the recommendations from both OHA and from me as a reviewer that reviewed this proposal, I thought it was a fine proposal, and it's just troubling to me that something of this quality could be attacked, and in some ways. I'm not sure that it's being read the way that it's actually written, which is the plan is to build housing on the property, and I'm just not seeing how that's not the case.
Thanks, Ron. Onisha.
So not only was the $4 million for the building that no one can live in was problematic for me, but the $262,000 in consultation costs, $167,000 in professional services as engineering, $250,000 in architect, professional services of $166,000. They're asking for optic facilitators for us to pay for them full time to do a peer wellness training, when normally the way a peer wellness training is, all of us attended a peer wellness training to become peers. We pay for our seat. It doesn't state how much it pays to come to these classes, but on top of them receiving payment from people to get certified, they're asking us to pay for their staff. They're asking for various outside organizations to be paid in the amount of $509,000. They asked for a nurse unit, a mobile unit. To this point, we've never funded any nurses at all. So for Ron to say, oh, let's fund this, I don't see anything wrong. I think that's problematic too. And I don't feel like I'm being attacking this proposal. I feel like I'm evaluating it honestly with the same eye as I evaluated all the others. And the fact that Ron is willing to fund the mobile unit with the nurses and pay for the nurses is questionable to me, because we haven't paid for any nurses or doctors up to this point.
Thank you, Onisha. And I just want to let's keep it with the organization and the rubric, and, people can have their feelings. Hubert.
Well, so the proposal that's been presented here looks good on paper. It does. It looks good on paper, but it doesn't fit what we need for Measure 110. You know, we just don't have the time to wait for them to develop housing and develop a infrastructure of this magnitude with the cost that they want, when we could distribute this money to organizations that have housing in place that could do the peer work and all that right now. So I don't want to vote for this right now, because I think we can put this money in a better organization that's really more fitted toward Measure 110 monies.
Thank you, Hubert.
Welcome.
Ron, and then I want to give Melinda the opportunity to speak if she chooses.
I'm just ready to vote.
Me too.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that we left room for you. Ron?
So I only have two more things to say.
Oh, Lord.
One is that it's perfectly reasonable for construction costs and building design and development to have an architect and an engineer and consulting firm when you're building housing. Those costs are compatible with those expenses and reasonable. And secondly, the other services that they're providing in terms of peer support and the mobile outreach, I think are much needed, particularly in outer Southeast. And even if we were to say that the housing expenses are not reasonable, I think the peer support services should be funded and this program should be funded.
Thank you, Ron. Thank you, Ron. All right. Anyone else have anything they want to say before we move to vote? All right. No further discussion. Walter.
All right. Motion on the table not to fund.
Before we vote.
Oh, hold on. We got on.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
So I did see some things that were powerful in this proposal. The biggest problem I had, and I agree with Juan, and maybe we should partially fund them. However, I do not agree with paying any of the housing fees, any of that, because if they wanted to build an apartment building, I felt like they could have came up with a better plan to invest about $5 million. They're requesting $8 million overall, but they could have used $5 million to not buy an admin building. And do they really understand the need for housing is right now? They could have requested that $5 million for a different plan to make housing available immediately. So I do not approve the real property part, but maybe some of the peer services. I do not approve paying the nurse, because we haven't paid that for anyone else either. So I don't know if you guys would be open to that, but I know that there is a motion and a second on the table. And if you're not open to that, I'm willing to vote on Amy's motion.
Okay, so we do, yes, thank you for pointing that out, Onisha. We do have a motion and a second. We have an additional comment from Ron, and then we will ask you.
Oh my God.
What? Melinda, you know you're not on mute, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to make sure. I didn't want to mute you. All right, Ron.
I was just going to say that I support what Onisha just said, because this is a wonderful organization and has tremendous services, and the proposal for peers and harm reduction is excellent, minus the nurse, and I would support that, what Onisha recommended.
All right, thank you for that. Amy, you have a motion on the table not to fund. Would you like to roll forward with that motion, or would you like to amend it?
I will amend my motion to partially fund without the nurse or housing.
So can we say real property there? Because that's what Onisha asked.
Sure.
For. Okay.
Sure.
All right. So can you make that motion?
Sorry, I had some. I had somebody buzzing over and I had to mute it. What was that, Jessica?
It sounds like you are making a motion to fund peer support and harm reduction and not the housing or the real property, correct?
Yes.
Is that what everybody else is cool with that? I see.
I just have a question about all of the consultation fees. Will that go away with some of that?
With the housing, yes.
So everything will go away, all those consultation fees, everything that has to do with the housing will go away?
Yeah, if they can't buy the property, they're not gonna ask for us to fund that housing design and architecture and whatnot.
And we have noted that in our notes. So maybe Amy is willing to amend her motion. Does anybody want to help her with that motion? Or Amy, do you got it? Because I saw you were doing something else.
I'm certainly open to just withdrawing my motion and letting someone else word it properly. And that's what I would like to do at this time. Thank you.
Sounds good. It looks
I
like
can
you're
do
real
it.
busy. Okay, thank you, Anisha.
I make a motion to partially fund everything except for the housing, the consultation fees, and the nurse.
Second.
All right, so we have a motion on the table from Onisha to provide partial funding to MHAAO minus the housing, the nurse, and the consultation fees.
Do I need to say no real property as well?
You would say real property purchase consulting fees.
Oh yeah, all of that.
Okay, so can we, sorry, because we have to get these in notes and we just want to make sure we get it right. So can we just
So partial funding, everything except the real property, all the consultation fees, all the consultation fees that go along with the real property, and the nurse.
Gotcha. Perfect.
Second.
And the optic trainings.
I can't take it.
Second.
Okay, we have a second. We have a second from Ron. Did I just want to make it clear with our staff? Did we get that in the? Did we get that motion? Walter, would you be really willing to read that before we vote? No.
No, I think we captured it. So just for me to say partially funded and we captured it or whatever. Because
thank you.
Yeah, Cindy typed it in the chat. You guys got it all.
Oh, perfect. Perfect. Thank you, Sydney. All right. Walter.
All right. Melinda. Oh, motion on the table to partially fund MHAAO Multnomah County. Melinda, how do you vote?
No.
Okay. Onisha.
Yes.
Okay. Ron.
Yes.
Okay. Amy.
Yes.
Okay. And Hubert.
No.
Okay.
So that didn't pass, huh?
Nope.
That
No.
did not pass.
Okay, so then we're not funding them?
Not unless
How does
somebody
this
else
work?
not unless somebody else makes another motion that passes.
Okay. I'm done with it. I feel like I've beat it to death. I tried.
Okay. Oh,
Back to you, Jessica.
Okay, thank you. The next organization under consideration this evening is the Insight Alliance. Oh, can we call back Keisha? Hold on, let's call back Keisha. Thank you. The Insight, well, oh, there.
I'm back.
Hi, Keisha. So Insight Alliance, if you would like to declare a conflict of interest with the Insight Alliance, please do so now. Hearing none, the Insight Alliance is applying to provide peer support and housing in Multnomah County. You have two recommendations. They are both yes. You can find, here it is, you can find these recommendations on the Insight Alliance 1 and Insight Alliance 2 tabs in your Multnomah County 2 workbooks. Subcommittee.
So I spoke on this, I think, last week. My only concern was if it was focused on SUD.
Thanks, Keisha. Anybody see that in the application that we sent out?
I'm looking.
They had a good wellness program. They had a good, reentry, but I didn't see a lot of focus on SUD. But every other part of that was pretty good.
Keisha, Ron?
Yeah, I was puzzled by it says this grant will enable our organization to hire additional full-time salaried peer mentor and teacher and a third full-time person in 2023. In addition, we'll be able to increase our monthly stipend amount for peer mentors and teachers to $750 per month.
I am so sorry, but what's the name of this company again?
Inside Alliance.
Inside Alliance. And it's in Multnomah too.
Yeah. It's right underneath Lasco.
Oh, I see him. I see him. Okay, thank you so much. Okay.
Ron, you have your hand up. Is that from earlier?
Yes, it was.
Oh, no worries. I could have put it down for you. Just checking.
It says they got to be in recovery to live in their house. That they can live in a transitional home for up to 24 months as long as they remain in recovery.
So are the staff not getting any wages? They just getting a stipend or?
Yeah, that's was a standout in the budget. It says unclear of purpose of the micro grants. May I request a proposal? May I request the documents for this organization, Jessica?
Yeah, absolutely. I believe they were sent to you on Sydney. Was that Friday?
Okay, let me find them.
We can resend them so they're at the top of your inbox.
Yeah, go ahead, Ron.
Yeah, so I'm just looking here at the budget and just in terms of staff, it looks like we have a executive director at 10%, project 180 director at 40%. They have one case manager at probably around, let's see, 71,000 for the 18-month period. Then they have a peer mentor at 20%, another peer mentor at 20, and that's where the basically $800 per month comes from. So they're very part-time people. And but they have one full-time mentor and teacher, and the salary for that for the full grant cycle is 65.
Thanks, Ron.
Then they're conducting one diversity or one-time grant, one-time training, basic rights organ training, general case management, $300 a month, peer wellness specialist, ongoing training. They've got that at about 16,000. And then furniture for startup, $10,000. Then the rest is kind of supported. It's like rent, utility, cleaning, bus passes, cell phones, translation services, micro grants, drug and alcohol testing, stipends for volunteer leaders, program office space. That's a full budget at $501,000.
Thanks, Ron. Do we get that sent out, Sid? Yeah. So y'all should have it in your inboxes. At the top of your inboxes.
I don't know if people are still reading. I would make a motion that we fund this organization with the emphasis on making sure they have SUD peer support.
All right. So we sorry, I'm trying to figure out what's going on with our captioning, y'all. So I'm a little distracted. So we have a motion on the table from Keisha to fund. Somebody want to restate that? I missed it. No, we all missed it. We're all trying to figure out what's going on. Keisha, I'm so sorry. Can I ask you to repeat that motion?
I recommend that we fund this organization with an emphasis on SUD peers.
Okay, so motion to fund with an emphasis on SUD peers. Do we have a second?
I'll second her motion.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor from Keisha and a second from Amy. And any more discussion? Hearing none. Walter.
All right. Motion on the table to fund, Inside Alliance, Multnomah County, motion to fund. Melinda, how do you vote?
Yes, to fund.
Okay. Onisha?
Yes, to fund.
Okay. Ron?
Yes.
Okay. Amy?
Yes.
Okay. Hubert?
Yes.
Okay. And Keisha?
Yes.
All right. And that passes with 6 to fund the Inside Alliance, Multnomah County. Back to you, Jessica.
Thanks. And I just want to call out that we're almost at the top of the hour. And so I'm going to suggest that we take a quick 10-minute break if y'all are interested.
Sounds good.
Yes.
Okay, I heard no nays there. So, all right. Thanks, everyone. We will see you back in 10.
All right. No, I thought I had a break. So.
Look at that. We are right on time, Onisha.
Hey,
Hey.
how many more we got left?
Jessica, you're muted.
I've been muted that whole time I was talking?
Yep.
Wow. I said, Onisha, we're on time. And then I
Jessica?
said,
Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
It says the host disabled my camera.
Huh?
Co-host has asked you to start your video. I tried, but it says that it was disabled. Now it's okay.
That's weird. I have no idea how that happened. I'm the host and I was downstairs. So I may have accidentally hit something or my cat might have sat on I have no idea. So, okay, well, I apologize for that. I will ensure that I don't accidentally, it is my biggest fear that one day I'm accidentally going to like end this, like I'm accidentally going to hit end and, everything's going to blow up. So, okay, so we have Amy, we have Keisha back, we have Onisha back. Hubert is connecting to audio. Do we have Melinda?
I'm here.
Thank you, Melinda. Do we have Ron?
Ron's here.
All right. The party don't start. No, I'm just kidding. All right. We're just waiting for Hubert's audio to connect and we're good to go, it looks like. I go to my handy dandy agenda. All right. So next on the it looks like Hubert's still trying to connect to audio. I think we're good on the conflict of interest. We've had this on the agenda a couple times, I think. So, oh, there he is. Okay. So, the next organization that you all will be considering this evening is the Marie Acquis Institute. If you have a conflict of interest with the Marie Acquis Institute, please declare it now. Hearing none, the Marie Acquis Institute is applying to provide peer support and harm reduction in Multnomah County. You have two recommendations. They are both yes. You can find those under Marie Acquis 1 and Marie Acquis 2. And with that, I will hand it back over to the subcommittee. Looks like Hubert is not connected. I thought it said connected. All right. I'm gonna try to give I'm gonna go ahead and try to give Hubert a call or a text and see if we can get that figured out. One sec, y'all feel free to, Sydney will facilitate.
I'm just a little boggled around it seems like it's community health worker focus, like under the community health worker umbrella, like they provide peer support, but I don't know that it's the peer support we're talking about.
Thanks, Keisha. Anyone else have a comment?
So it's $665,000 for harm reduction and peer support.
I think I was about to say something.
I'm sorry.
This question came up. This question I have came up prior in a previous proposal. The focus of this the primary focus of this proposal is LBTQ, LBGT, QIA2A plus queer and trans. And that's the focus of this proposal. And I've asked this question for because our philosophy of care is uniquely poised to support a comprehensive harm reduction program for unhoused queer, trans, and BIPOC folks. But it seems more our team of brings life experience with homelessness, disabled, queer, trans, autistic, and Spanish speaking. And so I'm just curious as to whether is that our primary demographic of who we serve? Is it the population most impacted by the war on drugs? And I'm posing that as a question.
Thanks, Ron. Keisha.
Yeah, and as I'm looking at the budget too, the personnel is CHW, 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 CHWs, all the way down. And I'm just not sure that they're grasping the intent of Measure 110 as we do.
Thanks, Keisha.
And there's a salary for something called an LPC for $116,000 a year.
That's a
And I
licensed
reckon-
professional counselor.
Hmm.
That's what I do.
All right.
That's not peer support, though. We're funding peer support, harm reduction, housing, supported employment.
Hubert, did you want to say something?
Not yet.
Okay, sorry. I thought I heard your voice.
I just don't see a heavy peer support role reflected in the budget or the proposal. Everything looks like maybe community health work or maybe mental health support. I mean, I see the harm reduction supplies, but not one peer support. I don't know about the LPC for, yeah.
So just on that point, Measure 1, number 3, how will this grant help expand this workforce? It says Measure 110 funds will be used to usher in a new level of operation organizational maturity as we scale up our program, enable us to deliver on our mission more effectively and reach more diverse corners of queer, transgender, and BIPOC unhoused communities. More specifically, OHA funds will be used to hire new CHWs, LCSW, and an LPC to supervise the CHW team, a full-time communications coordinator, a personal health navigator, and a program coordinator for the community health program. Additionally, OHA funds will be used to train our current team of CHWs as addiction peer wellness specialists, certified recovery mentors, addiction peer wellness, and other addiction specialists.
Thanks, Ron. Keisha.
Yeah, unless they have the lived experience, like it's not a crossover training like that, yeah.
Thanks, Keisha. Onisha?
That's what I was gonna say too. Like, it doesn't say specifically we are people with lived experience who are serving a community from a lived experience lens.
So if I can be clear, this is Hubert here. Peer support specialists are individuals who have lived experience through jail, drug addiction, and I could even go into mental health. When you say peer wellness, that kind of makes me kind of think they could hire anybody to be a peer wellness, with training, but they won't have the lived experience of a person with addictions and mental health or the trauma that comes along with the people that's been impacted on the war of drugs. You know what I'm saying? So we have to be careful when we look at these grants and we look at the verbiage and the language they're using to make sure that they are fitting with the criteria of Measure 110. We do need housing. We do need a lot of other support, you know, with all the stuff that's going on with addictions and all that. But we have to look at what our language says in Measure 110, and that is that these proposals are meeting that need in the community. You know, that's just my opinion. I have other opinions too, but you know, we don't have enough time.
Thanks, Hubert. We'll call on you if we need some of your other opinions, for sure. Ron, you have your hand up next.
Yeah, the only other thing is they're also offering harm reduction services. I'm looking at their harm reduction budget, harm reduction supplies, syringes, wound supplies, gauze, etc. And I think that's more related to their mobile outreach. They plan to buy a mobile outreach van. And my only concern with their harm reduction services is that the budget for harm reduction services, their total budget is $665,754.81, but their harm reduction budget is only about $1,400.
Okay.
Thanks, Ron. Onisha, you have your hand up next.
Yeah, they sound like a great organization. It just seems like they're a little all over the place. It also says they are erotic service providers whose mission is to support and uplift groups that make up the most marginalized sex workers in Oregon. They adhere to democratic decision-making process that quantitably values the votes of BIPOC members. They want to operate to fill a void in the historically white domain of adult entertainment advocacy, creating a culturally specific service for Black and brown sex workers. It's heavy laden with a lot of support for marginalized communities. I just don't see the specific focus on substance use disorder and those most impacted by the war on drugs as a focus. Sex workers are most impacted by the war on drugs.
If they would add,
It's different than anything we've ever looked at. I guess we just have to make a decision about. We could make an amendment that they hire lived experience peer recovery mentors instead of community health workers, because I think that would have made their program a lot stronger. I believe that sex workers do need that support.
I agree with that.
They're paying the peer mentors or the CHW's punishment. $3,000 a month isn't much. And then I've had a high question about they're paying the LPC $6,800 a month. And these people are the ones on the ground with the street, with the sex workers and in the midst of the struggle. And then they want to pay this other person, the LPC, who's sitting in the office, $7,000 a month. That sounds very unfair to me.
Thanks, Keisha. Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, we can say hire peers, but if they internally don't have the concept of peers, I wouldn't force them to embark on a workforce that they don't have any knowledge of. That can be very impactful for those who work for them. When you work in an organization where they don't understand what you do or where you come from or the work you do. I try to throw that in there.
Thanks, Keisha. Any other comments?
Well, we made a rule, in our big rules that any of the peer supporters that work on here have to be certified recovery mentors. So they would, if we funded them, they would have to hire CRMs anyway.
But they already, that's what should have been in the proposal, not CHWs. And that's the disconnect when you don't get the concept.
Right, and that was the thing that I just read, was that they actually have a budget item to pay for certification for their CHWs as peer wellness specialists and addiction peer wellness support.
Thanks, Ron. Keisha, do you have your hand up still? Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. And I seen that they had that certification. I'm just leery on if the folks that they want to certify have lived experience, because it's not just a training you go to and you can be a addiction peer support specialist without the lived experience. And it kind of seems like that's what they might feel, because I don't see a lot of substance in the application around SUD services. And if that was the case, I don't understand why in the budget they want to put peer recovery mentors, certified recovery mentors in the first place. They are blatantly saying CHWs.
Thanks, Keisha. Any other thoughts?
Last thought.
Okay.
Sorry. Just like in alignment with how we can only look at what's in front of us. We can't assume that they're going to do this or that. What we can look at is what's in front of us, which that worker type is not in alignment with Measure 110.
Keisha. Onisha.
Well, I don't know. I'm struggling with this one because they're helping sex workers. They're helping gay people. They're helping people on the street. They're anti-racist. It says that they do have community health workers, but I know some people on this meeting right now started out as community health workers, but maybe that's how they were in a role certified, but that didn't mean they were also people in recovery. So these community, just like we don't know if they have the capacity to hire peer recovery mentors and manage them, we really don't know if the community health workers they have are not people with lived experience of addiction. And I think that with OHA support, maybe they can help this organization be successful. They have a lens that we haven't seen in Multnomah County, which is queer, gender diverse, intersex community, sex workers. I think that's a really bold way to like really go after this group that nobody else is talking about. Nobody else ain't talking about sex workers. You know what I'm saying? Nobody else ain't talking about queer specific people like this. So I don't know.
Thanks, Onisha. Keisha.
Yeah. So with that, like I'm a hybrid. I'm a community health worker and I'm a peer support specialist, but I have lived experience in addictions. 1, 2, I love the population they're trying to reach, and I wouldn't mind. I'm just not seeing the SUD portion of this. They had more, if they elaborated more on the addiction part, I would lean more, but it seems more racial justice, and then that's part of it too. But like, I don't know. I just really like people are out here dying, and if you're not working through the lens of overdose prevention and trying to give people hope to do something different, man, I don't know. I don't know.
Thanks, Keisha. Ron, you're next with your hand up.
Yeah, I'm gonna pass. Sorry.
Okay. Ron passes. Passes to Amy. Amy, you have your hand up.
Hi. So I sorry about the back. As an LPC myself, we do a lot of the therapeutic part of what the peers, through interview, through helping them, through guiding with people, hey, would you like to talk to a counselor? To help them with the therapeutic part of the recovery part of it. So I think that's where the LPC comes into it. I don't know for sure, but that's usually what the position of a LPC is. But I'm a CADC too as well. So in my role, in my experience, that's what that is for. That's all I know. I think it's a good proposal. I mean, I think, yeah, they're doing some really good work. I'd like, I'd be on board to fund some of it.
Thanks, Amy. Onisha.
Nope.
It says in this paragraph on their proposal, we place a huge emphasis on peer-delivered care. The community members we serve see their identities and life experience mirrored in the CHWs providing care advocacy. Our team of CHWs bring life experience with drug use, being homeless, disabled, queer, trans, autistic, and Spanish speaking. The importance of this representation cannot be understated. It puts people at ease knowing that CHWs either personally understand or at least have the frame of reference to understand what they are going through. So it sounds like they have on their staff people who do have lived experience and people who have the frame of reference to understand what they're going through. So it sounds like they have both type of people on their staff.
So
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
So if they have the wisdom and understanding, I don't understand why they just wouldn't say our certified recovery mentors or our peer support specialists instead of community health workers. They're two different things.
Wasn't part of their request to get the training for them so they can become certified?
It was to hire for CHWs, not for certified recovery mentors.
Maybe if we make a motion to fund with the understanding that they need to hire people with lived experience, certified workers,
Right.
peer workers.
I'm going to speak from experience. Being a CHW and having lived experience, they made me stay in my role. And I couldn't use my other experience because I was a CHW. And like that was the role. I just want
really confusing.
Their understanding that these are CRMs or PSSs. And that's the role. The other stuff is good, but making sure that,
Thanks, Keisha. We have a hand up from Ron.
Yeah, I feel satisfied that with the certification as peer wellness specialist, peer addiction specialist, and it's in the budget that they're going to fund it. I would support this proposal. I make a motion that we fund it.
I second.
All right, so we have a motion from Ron.
Can we make a motion to fund it with the amendment that they hire CRMs?
Well, that would be up to Ron who made the motion.
Yes.
Okay, so can you restate the
I would
motion?
make a motion that we fund this proposal with the additional request or modification that they hire certified recovery mentors.
I second.
Thank you, Ron. So we have a motion on the table from Ron to fund, ensuring that they are hiring CRMs. We have a second from Melinda. Any more discussion? Hearing none.
Oh, no. I don't want to pay that LPC wage, whatever that is.
Okay. Well, so we have a motion, and unless that motion is.
Yeah, so I would add to my motion to fund the proposal with the additional condition that they hire certified recovery mentors. And then I'm not sure if you're eliminating the position, but without funding the licensed professional counselor.
Yeah, is that something we normally have funded, the LPC? I don't think so.
Okay.
I second.
All right, so we have a motion to fund Maria Cui with additional requests that they hire CRMs and not to fund the LPC. Is that correct?
So that would actually be a partially fund.
Okay. So Ron, would you like to amend your motion again?
I mean, they captured the negotiating, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But I
So,
think
yeah.
you still got to say it.
Okay, so the give me a second. So I make the motion that we fund Marie Acquis with the additional condition that they hire certified recovery mentors, and it's partial funding, and that we are not funding the licensed professional counselor position.
Second.
Thank you, Melinda. Okay. So I have a motion on the table to partially fund excluding the LPC salary and requiring that they hire CRMs. Is that correct? Okay. We have a motion. That motion is from Ron. We have a second from Melinda. Is there any more discussion? Hearing none. Walter?
Okay. All right. Motion on the table to partially fund the Marie Acquis Institute, Multnomah County. Melinda, how do you vote?
Yes.
Okay. Onisha?
Yes to partially fund.
Okay. Ron?
Yes.
Okay. Amy?
Hold on. Yes.
Okay. Hubert?
Yes, partially fund.
All right. And Keisha?
Abstain.
Okay. All right. That passes with 5 and 1 abstain to partially fund the Marie Acquis Institute, Multnomah County. Back to you, Jessica.
Thank you so much, Walter. The next organization on the list is Volunteers of America. If you have a conflict of interest with Volunteers of America, please declare it now. All right, hearing none. Volunteers of America is applying to provide SUD treatment and peer support in Multnomah County. There are 2 recommendations. Both are yes. Those can be found under the VOA 1 and VOA 2 tabs in your Multnomah County 2 workbook. Sending to the subcommittee.
Did you say both of them said yes?
Oh, I'm sorry. One is yes and one is yes partial. My apologies.
Yeah, the reviewer said partial. I may need to defer to others with more expertise in the cost of SUD treatment and the overhead in this type of work, but this seems expensive for what it delivers. They are requesting $823,000.
Thanks, Onisha.
Did you send their budget to us, Jessica?
Well, I didn't. Did Sydney?
Sydney, sorry.
That's okay. You guys, y'all have not reviewed this one yet, so it has not been requested unless anyone requested it individually. But we definitely can.
Ron, were you going to say something?
Yeah, so how will this grant expand your services? VOA has extensive, well-established substance abuse treatment portfolio that will serve as a foundation for expanding services to provide tailored, client-informed, culturally responsive for Measure 110 individuals. And then it goes, we are seeking grant funding to specifically cover the treatment needs for clients who are not able to get Medicaid or other insurance or who are uninsured. Using existing data for clients, we are estimating 20 clients per year, billed at an average of $7,000 per uninsured episode. We're proposing to draw against this fund in a fee-for-service method based on our current Medicaid reimbursement rates.
Thanks, Ron.
And that's why I like this proposal, because it specifically addresses folks who are categorically ineligible, or people who are uninsured, and people who are underinsured.
Did you read this proposal, Ron?
Yes, I did. I read it and I liked it.
How much are they paying their employees?
Let me get to that here. I don't have that particular budget right in front of me.
Sydney, can we send out the budget for this? Thank you.
So
Go ahead.
they have 2 peer mentors at about 70,000 for the period, for the 18-month period each. They have a program director at 0.10. Looks like they have 2 at 10%, a clinical director at 10%, a mentor supervisor at 50%, and then 2 full-time mentors at let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me do that. Looks like about 3,600 a month, something like that. And they're the biggest element in the budget is really the uninsured funding, $7 per episode treatment. It's about 200,000 to make sure, 220,000 to cover people without insurance. And the workstation. Yeah, go ahead.
Is there any other employees' salaries on there? I think
No,
Cindy's
just the
about to
one.
send the budget to us.
Yeah, just the one I mentioned.
So they're not paying like the ED or anything like that?
No. Can you guys see the screen?
Yeah, but
can.
I'd rather have the
Oh,
budget.
let's take that down. Let's take that
Okay.
down.
Oh, that's right. My bad. Sorry.
Yeah. No, you're
You
okay.
can't show that to the public.
Yeah, yeah.
My bad.
It's okay. It happens, right? It's okay. All right. I think Sydney sent it out, so y'all should
I
be.
haven't got it yet.
And it takes a minute. I don't.
Is this okay? Here we go.
Yeah, it seems like a fair and reasonable budget to me.
Okay.
Just came through for me too, so.
Yeah, I got it. No. Yeah, it looks reasonable. I make a motion that we fund VOA for Multnomah County.
Second.
All right, we have a motion on the table from Onisha to fund VOA in Multnomah County. We have a second from Ron. Any more discussion? Hearing none. Walter?
Sorry about that. All right. Motion on the table to fund Volunteers of America, Oregon, Multnomah County. Melinda, how do you vote?
Yes to fund.
Okay. Onisha.
Yes to fund.
Okay. Ron?
Yes.
Okay. Amy?
Yes.
Hubert? Hubert? How do you vote?
Yes to fund.
All right. And Keisha?
Yes.
All right. That passes with 6 to fund Volunteers of America, Multnomah County. All right. Back to you, Jessica.
Thanks, Walter. The next organization for you all to consider this evening is Women First Reentry Transition Center. If you have a conflict of interest that you need to declare for Women First Reentry Transition Center, please do so now. Hearing none. Women First Reentry Transition Center is applying to provide peer support and housing in Multnomah County. There are 2 recommendations. They are yes and yes partial. You can find those under the Women First 1 and Women First 2 tabs in your Multnomah County 2 workbook, and to the subcommittee for discussion or a vote.
Can we get the budget, Cindy?
Sydney.
Sydney. Sorry, my apologies.
It's okay, Onisha. I know who you're talking to.
Now we're going to call her Cindy all the time.
But if we get a Cindy at some point, that's when we'll have the problem. I don't mind at all.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Come on, Cindy, hurry up. I'm just kidding.
Sending to everyone but Jessica.
Which one are we reviewing again?
Women's First.
This is one that I reviewed as well, along with and I agree with the other reviewers to fund this proposal. I was looking at the budget to see what the partial would be, but the fact that this is specific to African American women and housing and peer support, particularly women who are formerly incarcerated or people who have been entangled in the legal system. I think it's the ideal population for Measure 110 funding, and I would support and I would make a motion to fund this proposal.
I second.
Can I get some more time?
You sure can.
Yeah, and with the partial funding, Ron, it wasn't necessarily saying give them less money, but if you read the rubric, it was saying they were only paying the house manager $500 a month.
Right.
And that the housing intake and retention manager are working part-time at $40,000 a year. So it sounds like they were saying not necessarily take money from them, but make some adjustments.
Right.
I'm still waiting on the budget.
Jessica, did you get it?
Didn't look for it. Hold on one second.
Oh, that's my gauge on if it went through. I just want to make sure.
Okay, I got it.
Okay.
Can I just ask a question I don't want it to sound bad or anything the way I want to ask it, but like this program is already up and running, has been for quite some time. They're providing the same services. They're asking, they're telling us what their services are, things like that. So what's going to change, or what are they going to do different, or that's what I wanted. Why how is the funds from ballot measure 110 going to do anything different than what they're already doing? Or are they going to expand to other cultures, or are they going to, you know, what is that? I guess that's where I'm going with that.
You know, in number 4, it says how many clients can access each type of peer service, and will funding increase or sustain these numbers? They say we have 1 CRM now. This funding will increase capacity to 2, doubling our access of who have caseloads of 10 to 15. This will double access of caseloads up to 30.
So what does it
How
mean
much
when they're paying the recovery mentor $754 a month?
Well, that's so the way I'm reading
One-time
this,
bridge to market rate. What does that mean?
it means that they're not paying them enough now, and they're using this fund to pay them what they deserve.
Okay. And then this behavioral health counselor at $150 an hour, we can't pay that. The parenting instructor, the yoga instructor, the operation development consultant. I would rather see that money go to client need, like to buy the women hygiene, to buy them clothes, to pay for their IDs.
So there would be minus the contractual costs.
Yeah, because there's like 90, so there's 100,000, 24,000, 8,000, another additional 10,000. So it adds up to $161,000 for counseling and yoga. Like those are cool, but you can go get that stuff for free. And I think they could use that $161,000 to give them women what they really need. And I don't see any client services on
I
here.
would amend my motion to fund the proposal minus the consulting fees.
Yeah, minus the consulting fees, and if they could
Contractual
implement,
costs.
yeah, and if they could implement some client services.
All right, so it sounds like we have a bit of a motion. I wanted to give space for anybody else that wants to say something. Okay, so Ron, would you like to restate that motion, please?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to fund Women First, and with the caveat of removing the contractual costs for the behavioral health counselor, yoga instructor, meditation instructor, and
There's a behavioral health counselor, a parenting instructor, a mediation yoga instructor.
I was wondering about the parenting instructor because we, but yes. So I'm making the motion that we fund Women First with partial funding, with the condition of removing the behavioral health counselor, parenting instructor, meditation and yoga instructor, and development consultant.
Yeah, what is an IT data consultant?
Get somebody that helps them get their computer set up.
I second.
I second it too. Can we amend it that they add more money to the client-related services?
Yes.
Take
I mean,
some of that money.
It'll have to be a negotiation. That's on them.
Yeah.
Well, I just would like to put it in the notes.
Yeah.
And subtracting the $161,753 for contract services and move them some of that percentage to client-related expenses. Then women need stuff.
Yes.
All right, so we do have that in our notes. I saw Sydney furiously typing there. So we have a motion on the floor to fund Women First Reentry. Oh, yes, Sydney, do you want to read it, please?
No, I don't want to read it. I just want to clarify that the IT person was supposed to be included. I didn't catch the title, if it's listed in the budget, if so.
It's IT data consultant for $500 a month.
Okay, thank you.
And does everybody agree for the housing manager to get $500 a month?
I think you should get more.
Me too.
And increase wages for housing manager.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to have to defer to somebody taking notes to reread that motion. If at all possible.
Sure, I'll read it.
Thank
The
you.
motion, yeah, motion to partially fund, except of the contractual costs for behavioral health counselors, parenting, yoga, and meditation instructors, and IT data consultant, and increase wages for housing manager.
So that was
Yes.
incorrect. So we wanted to pay for the ID data consultant, but not the behavioral health counselor, the parenting instructor, the
so do
yoga
we-
instructor, and the operations development consultant.
So do we need IT to set up computers monthly? Or
I don't
is that-
think so. I think that's an extensive price. I think we can get rid of all the contractual costs altogether.
That would be a motion that would be much easier to say.
Can I make the motion?
That's up to Ron.
I retract my motion.
Thank you. Onisha, would you like to make a motion?
I make a motion to partially fund Women's First minus the contractual costs, letter E, all of them, with the increase of payment for the house manager and an increase of client-related expenses for the recipients.
Second.
did you say
Thank you.
partially fund?
Yes, she
Yes.
did.
Okay.
All right, so we have a motion on the table from Onisha to partially fund except for contractual costs. Increasing the salary of the house manager and oh, it just left my brain because my cat's in front of me.
And increasing the client-related expenses.
There you go. Perfect. We have a second from Ron. Any more discussion? Do you want to say something? Hearing none. Walter.
All right, motion to partially fund Women First Reentry Transition Center, Multnomah County. Melinda, how do you vote?
Yes to partially fund.
Okay. Onisha?
Yes.
Okay. Ron?
Yes.
Okay. Amy?
Yes.
Okay. Hubert?
Yes, partially fund.
All right. And Keisha?
Yes.
All right. And that passes with 6 to partially fund Women First Reentry Transition Center, Multnomah County. Back to you, Jessica.
Thank you, Walter. I just want to call attention to the fact that we're very close to the top of the hour. Would we like to take a break?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hubert said, yeah. Okay. How about we come back at 6 p.m.?
All right. Bye, kitty.
Yeah, she took off. All right. See you at 6. All right. Welcome back. Welcome back, Hubert. Welcome back, Keisha.
I'm here.
Thank you,
Melissa.
Melissa. Thank you. Did we lose Onisha? Uh-oh. Let me just send a quick text. Keisha, are you back?
Yes, ma'am. I'm here.
Okay, Ron, how about you? All right. So we don't have Ron and we don't have Onisha and we don't have Amy. Oh, we have Ron. Okay.
We have Ron.
All right. Don't we though? No. Let's see. So we're just waiting on Amy and hopefully Onisha can join us. I sent her a text letting her know that we're ready to get started. We only have 2 more organizations left in Multnomah County. Wow.
Yay!
It's a monumental task that you all have accomplished or are about to accomplish. So it's a pretty big deal. Oh,
Here she comes.
yeah, here's Onisha. Amy.
I'm here.
Thanks, Onisha. Glad to have you back. We don't have Amy. I'm gonna send Amy a text. I think this might be Amy's phone though, so we'll see. All right, I texted Amy.
La, 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 la.
We'll give Amy 1 more minute to join. Amy, we're ready. I don't want to yell because I can yell. We'll give Amy 1 more minute and then I think we have quorum. We can go ahead and get started if that is what the subcommittee chooses.
If she doesn't respond, though, I would reach out to her. I don't want no
Can we
miscommunication.
text her?
I did.
Can we give her like 2 minutes?
Sure, we sure can. We can give her as much time as you'd like. I can try to call her, but I think we might be on her phone right now, but I'll try to give her a call.
Yeah, call her.
We have
Amy.
Sorry, I'm back.
It's okay. It's okay. Welcome back. So we have everyone. So we can get started. Was that somebody? Okay. The next organization under consideration this evening is Yassine's Love, LLC. If you have a conflict of interest with Yassine's Love, please declare it now. Hearing none. Yassine's Love, LLC is applying to provide SUD treatment, peer support, and harm reduction. There are 2 recommendations. They are both yes. You can find those under the One second. It's a long workbook. The Yassine 1 and Yassine 2 tab in your Multnomah County workbook, and it's at the very end. Not very end, but almost. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to the subcommittee for discussion or a vote.
So this is one that I reviewed as well, and I like this proposal. I agree with the OHA reviewers. This proposal focuses on SUD impacted women, particularly focused on planning for pregnancy, birth, postpartum, and ongoing peer counseling and support, and mobile and both virtual outreach services, and harm reduction. So it was the only proposal I saw that really focused on SUD impacted pregnant women, and I think that that it's a good proposal and it's a reasonable budget, and I would make a motion to fund it.
Thanks, Ron.
A second.
What's the budget, Ron?
I'm
I
sorry?
second.
Okay, real quick. So we have a motion on the floor to fund from Ron. We have a second from Melinda. Any discussion? Yes, Onisha?
I just wanted to know what the overall budget was. That's all.
No worries.
And if I recall, I think they're going to train.
The overall budget is $337,000.
Thanks, Ron. Melinda?
Ron, correct me if I'm wrong. Are these the one that we did that where they're going to train their doulas into peer support specialists, or no?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Is there any more discussion? Hearing none. Walter?
Let's roll. Motion to fund Yassine's Love, Multnomah County. Melinda, how do you vote?
Yes, to fund.
Okay. Onisha?
Yes to fund.
Okay. Ron?
Yes.
Okay. Amy?
Yes.
Okay. Hubert?
Yes to vote. Yes to vote. Yes.
Okay. And then Keisha?
Yes.
All right. And that passes with 6 to fund Yassine's Love, Multnomah County. Back to you, Jessica.
Thank you. The next organization for your consideration this evening is Yoga Punks PDX. If you have a conflict of interest with Yoga Punks PDX, please declare it now. Hearing none, Yoga Punks PDX is applying to provide SUD treatment, peer support, and harm reduction in Multnomah County. There are 2 recommendations. They are both yes. You can find those under the Yoga Punks 1 and Yoga Punks 2 tabs in your Multnomah County 2 workbooks. And with that, I throw it over to the subcommittee for vote or discussion.
I make a motion not to fund.
Second.
All right, we have a motion from Onisha not to fund Yoga Punks PDX. We have a second from Ron. Any discussion? Hearing none. Walter?
Just wanted to make sure I wrote that down. All right, motion on the table not to fund Yoga Punks, Multnomah County. Melinda, how do you vote?
Yes, not to fund.
Okay, Onisha.
Yes, not to fund.
Okay, Ron.
Yes.
Okay, Amy.
Yes, not to fund.
All right, Hubert.
Yes, not.
Okay, and Keisha.
I'm sorry, did you guys call me?
Yes.
Uh-huh. Yep.
What was the
But
question? I'm sorry.
motion not to fund Yoga
For
Punks.
Yoga Punks?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I said I made the motion.
All right, Keisha.
Yes,
Okay.
I think.
Well,
I'm sorry. Yes, not to fund.
All right. All right.
okay.
All right. That passes with 6, not to fund Yoga
Oh,
Punks.
Thank
Back
you.
to you,
And
Jessica.
thank you. So I just want to say that we do have one more application for Multnomah County. You received it in the email with your other workbooks, and it is for Fora Health. So if you want to take a second and pull those out. If anyone has a conflict of interest that they'd like to declare for Fora Health, please declare it now. Hearing none. Fora Health is applying to provide, and I don't have a cover sheet, so I'm winging it here, SUD treatment in Multnomah County. There are 2 recommendations. One is no or partial funding. The other is yes. You can find those in your Fora Health workbook, and there are only 2 tabs, so I don't need to say that. And with that, I'm going to throw it back to the subcommittee for discussion or vote.
May I have a moment?
Absolutely, of course.
Excuse me.
Where is For Health? Is it in Multnomah 2 or Multnomah 1?
Fora Health would be it. So we sent you the workbook with the 2.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about in the workbook. Is it in the workbook 1 or workbook 2?
It was sent separately. It's in a workbook by itself, just the 2 Fora application.
Oh, okay. That's why I couldn't find it. I'm
I
looking
can
for it,
resend it.
please.
Can I get it too? Please, thank you.
Thanks, Sydney.
So all I have is one rubric, one evaluator. Cindy, is that what you sent us? Is just one rubric with that evaluator?
Should be two rubrics, 2 tabs.
I only have one.
I got 2. Did anybody else just get one rubric?
I didn't get no rubrics.
Okay.
It was sent last Thursday.
I got
I'm sending it
a
again.
list of all things we tabled, and then I got one rubric.
Okay, we're gonna resend it.
Yeah, I think I did them.
Are you sending it or should I send?
I sent it.
It's the one I did that was missing.
The total budget is 2.2 million.
And I believe in the budget, the way they wrote it was in percents. Can you send everybody the budget so they can see it? Like out of the 2.2 million, they were like 40% of this money is going to Multnomah County.
We're getting that out to you right now.
They were asking for QMHPs for $11,000 a month. Medical directors. Yeah, this budget was inadequately done for the proposal.
Yeah, this budget is heavy on salaries.
Mm-hmm. $19,000 a month for a medical residential PMHMP. I don't even know what that means.
They do detox, right?
Well, they're doing a medical residential. So they got a clinical operations coordinator. They got a 3.7 QMHPs. Looks like 3.7 PMHN nurse practitioners. The care coordinator, CADC, 0.4 medical director, then 1 peer for the bridge clinic, 1 peer for youth services, case manager for youth
and that's
services.
it.
CADC, looks like 2 for youth services. Oh wait, maybe that's 1. It's 2 QMHPs, 1 PMHNP, and then
And out of all this money, they only want to hire 2 peers to work in all 3 counties. They have 1 peer mentor that they want to work in all 3 of their houses in Clackamas, Multnomah, and Washington County. And they want to pay them $3,600 a month to drive through 3 different counties.
So there's in the description of what they're offering, it says, how will this grant allow you under SUD? How will this grant allow you to expand these services? We propose to increase outreach and transitions into, between, and out of new expanded SUD services. We're requesting funding for peer inreach to hospitals, clinics, dual diagnosis counselors, and admissions counselor, a psychiatric nurse practitioner, and for expansion of our medically managed residential program serving psychiatrically complex patients, as well as patients requiring long-term IV antibiotics in pregnant individuals. a peer CADC medical provider and care coordinator for a new clinic providing short-term, low-threshold buprenorphine maintenance and care coordination for patients leaving withdrawal management. Peer and case management services plus 2 additional CADCs and a medical provider for our expanded youth residential program to support youth patients under 18 as we add residential care for female identified youth. Bilingual peer and care coordinator to expand our Hillsborough pilot, providing low threshold MAT for Latinx individuals. 2 advisory councils and a small van and car for transportation.
So the problematic thing with this budget, Ron, was like the ask for the medical director at the Bridge Clinic, the medical providers, all the QMHPs and the PMHMPs, and then the Hillsborough staff, the Washington County staff. Like, this is specifically supposed to be for Multnomah County, so I'm not sure how we can fund them the way they wrote the budget for these other 2 counties.
Yeah, so just real quick, we can't consider anything for any other county while we're in Multnomah. So anything that says Washington County or another county.
Hillsborough. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was thinking. I
Yeah,
wrote
that
it
can't
in
be
my
funded.
I wrote it all and scratched it out. I put a line through it to show the things that they were specifically asking for another county. They were asking for like $20,000 for indigent housing in Clackamas County, $30,000 in housing vouchers for Clackamas County. And everything is lumped together. So like the $405,000 for the program staff training costs or the Fear Apocalypse registration is grouped in from all 3 counties.
Thanks, Onisha.
The medical staff they're requesting is about $700,000.
Yeah, I'd almost say this proposal is kind of not in compliance with the RFGA.
I agree. I make a recommendation not to fund for health.
I second it.
All right, we have a motion on the table from Onisha not to fund Fora Health in Multnomah County. We have a second from Hubert. Is there any more discussion? Hearing none. Walter, when you're ready.
All right. Motion on the table not to fund Fora Health, Multnomah County. Melinda, how do you vote?
I abstain.
Oh, okay. All right. Onisha?
Yes, not to fund.
Okay. Ron?
Yes, not to fund.
Okay. Amy?
Not to fund.
Okay. Hubert?
Yes, not to fund.
All right. And Keisha?
Yes.
All right. That passes with 5 not to fund Fora Health, Multnomah County with 1 abstain. Back to you, Jessica.
Thank you. Hey, y'all finished Multnomah County. That's pretty huge. Yeah, that's a big deal. So, because you all have finished Multnomah County, I want to give you the opportunity to pull out your Union County workbook that was sent to you on Thursday, Sid?
I believe so. But when you ask me like that, I'm not sure.
No. I mean, I'm not questioning. So it's in that email with all of the other the agenda and everything that we sent out. So that there are 3 organizations in Union County. If someone, because we're moving to a new county, if someone needs to declare a conflict of interest for the entirety of Union County, please do so now.
When is our next meeting set up? Can we have time to review them or do we got to rush through them right now? Because I haven't even looked at those counties.
Okay. Well,
Do we have another meeting on Thursday?
yes, you do have another meeting on Thursday.
Because Multnomah County took a lot out of us, Jessica.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm not here to make you work beyond your capacity.
Some of us more than
I
others.
mean, I'm not the only one. I mean, other people may want to just push forward.
Well, let's talk about it.
I want to do it Thursday.
You want to do it Thursday, because so we have 2 for Thursday. Keisha, Amy, Melinda, how are you all feeling?
Thursday for me too. I'm wiped.
Okay. Okay.
I got a baby that's saying Thursday.
Okay. That was a good one. All right.
I'm okay either way.
Okay. And Hubert, how are you feeling? Oh, wait, Hubert already said something. Ron, you good with Thursday?
For
your colleagues?
I'm gonna go with the flow.
Good man.
We got Ron going with the flow. Sounds like a good deal. Okay. So at the subcommittee's request, we're going to adjourn until Thursday. But before you leave, don't leave yet. I just want to let you know, you have Union County rubrics and Josephine County rubrics in your email. And maybe we can just resend those tonight so they're at the top of your inbox. Please review them, and if you would like any applications beforehand, please let us
I would
know.
like all the applications.
Yes,
for
please send
Josephine.
all the applications and budgets.
All the applications. I want specifically Josephine County. I think I think Union County is going to be pretty straightforward, but Josephine County in particular, I want all the applications and budgets.
All
Okay,
right.
do you want them all in one email? How do you
You
want
can
them?
send them.
Because-
I'll take them in one email.
Okay.
And it sounds like Onisha wants them all. I think we should just send them all to everybody. You gave Cindy a great task for this evening or for tomorrow morning, whenever. Thanks, y'all. I think we can just take this moment to give yourselves a round of applause for getting through the tri-counties. You did it. That's huge. It's huge. All right. Well, with that, I'm gonna say thank you and have a great evening. I hope you get some rest, and don't forget, Union and